Hey guys, welcome back to Simply You. Be here, be real, be you with Carly Basham. Thank you all so much for tuning in again this week. So happy to have y'all here, and I hope y'all are having a phenomenal week so far in month of February, Love Month. I'm so excited for our conversation today and what we're going to be talking about. But before we get into that, I just wanted to give a shout out and thanks to my team. Again, thank you all so much just for all of your all's hard work and dedication into Simply You, my vision and dream into this. Just wanted to throw a huge shout out to my support system, my best friends and my family. Thank you all so much for your all's encouragement and your all's support. This journey definitely is not easy. It is definitely scary putting yourself out there. So just thank you all for being my rocks during this journey and for making me feel just so loved and supported and back throughout this entire journey. So without further ado, welcome back to Simply You. So what I wanted to talk about today with you guys is these small wins in life. I think celebrating the small wins in life is essential, especially just as we get older. Life only gets harder. Life only seems to be getting faster. One of the most important and best things that we can do while we're growing up is celebrating those small wins. Just because as we get older, we're going to have more obligations, we're going to have more responsibilities and plans that we're going to make. We're going to have more people to see, more things to do. Life does not slow down for any of us. It can be scary. It can feel incredibly overwhelming sometimes, but that's just where as life gets faster, as life feels faster and just feels like it's getting harder and you just, feel like you can't get a grip on things, that's whenever you really have to go back to those small wins. We all see and have small wins happen throughout our day-to-day life. If we're waking up, that's a small win within itself. Honestly, I think it's a huge win every single day because you get another chance to go after this life and go after your life especially. So that's just where I really wanted our focus today and for this next week to be on those small wins. So kind of like I was saying, the older we get, the busier we get, the faster life seems to be, right? I feel like you hear people talk about it all the time, how whenever we were little kids, it felt like time was, almost standing still, like it was so slow, and that even like days and months and years just seemed to be so much longer. Whereas now I feel like the older you get, your days and months and years just seem to be getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and your time just feels less and less. It all goes back to our time is so valuable, especially here on this earth. Our time here isn't always going to be easy on this earth, We're going to have these problems, these situations, these difficult times come up in our lives. That's where the balance comes into play, right? With good has to come bad. There can't be good all the time. Life can't just be this easy, rainbows and butterflies living and lifestyle every single day. Because think about it, if there was purely just good things happening in your life all the time, you wouldn't even know that they were good things because you wouldn't have anything to compare them to. We talked about in one of the previous episodes where comparison, that's kind of a double-sided, there's kind of two ways to it. You can see comparison as comparison is the thief of joy, which yes, I absolutely believe that. The more that you do compare yourself to somebody, the more that you're gonna see less of within yourself and within your life. But also on the other side of that, majority of the things in life are very similar to a coin. There's two faces, there's double-sided ways to every single thing in this life, and that's kind of like comparison. So you have one side of comparison, how it can be the thief of joy, but then you also have comparison where it can, spark creativity and inspiration and motivation and drive within you too. So it's almost like the older we get, the less time we have. So that's just where really utilizing and valuing your time that you have here on earth, right? Making those bad days better days somehow. And that's where those small wins can be incorporated every single day. Making sure that every single day that you are waking up, that you have on this earth is a good day no matter what. And again, a good day does not necessarily have to clarify or mean that everything went perfect. A good day can mean that you got up and made your bed this morning, or that you got to talk to your mom or your dad or your best friend today. Maybe did one small thing to reach your long-term goal, some sort of exercise, whatever that may look like. Like there's so many small little things that you can count and deem a small win. And I just think that the second that we start to notice and acknowledge those small wins that we're doing throughout our lives, it's going to make your entire life just feel so much better and so much more fulfilling and worth it, you know, because again, life just gets so hard. I mean, like, I catch myself during the week sometimes and I wake up and just literally have no motivation and no drive, and I'll be like, oh, not this again. Like, the thought of working out and working and just having another to-do list to do and having a book schedule 6 a.m. until 8 p.m. Like, it's just, it can seem and feel so overwhelming. It goes back to gratitude and finding those small wins. And I mean, like, I've had days where literally it seems like everything that can go wrong goes wrong that day. Like, literally nothing is going for me. Nothing is aligning well with me that day. Like, it's just a fucking shit show. Literally just a clusterfuck at that point. But during those days, rather than letting that consume me, again, I try to, it does not look perfect all the time, but that is where I really try to just find that one or two small little things that I can either be grateful for or that can deem as a small win that day, you know? And I mean, it can literally be as small as I made my bed that day, or I went for a 30-minute walk that day, you know, I called my best friend or something. Whatever it is it looks like, just finding something throughout those hard days where it just literally seems like the world is falling apart can just make you take that deep breath that maybe you need that day. You know, it can maybe take your tense shoulders and relax them even just a centimeter, even just an inch, you know? An inch is all we need some days. Some days we may not be able to take that big of a step forward, but sometimes maybe just a little scoot is all we're able to contribute that day. And a scoot sometimes is enough. Days where you feel like you just have to scoot forward are the days where you need to celebrate that scoot the most, because a scoot is better than being stagnant. And that also brings me to Murphy's Law. For those of you all who have heard it, for those of you all who hadn't, it's this idea that anything that can go wrong will go wrong. It's this ideology that you can't necessarily stop the things that are going to go wrong. They're just going to happen. You know, those things that are out of our control. You can try to plan differently or do something differently or whatever it is, but it's still gonna happen no matter what. I just feel like on days where maybe Murphy's Law is really in effect and you're really feeling all of those things just starting to go wrong or seem wrong, that's whenever you really just have to highlight, again, either those small wins, the small little things of gratitude, or really recognize that this may be a shift for you to reach something that's 10 times greater and better. We will never come across a situation that we cannot handle. It may take us thinking outside the box a little bit. It may take us pushing outside of what we know that our capabilities are. But again, it does not mean that you are not capable of doing it and achieving it. It may seem scary. It may seem overwhelming. But again, you can't get to the point of your life where you are feeling peace, have that clarity, and have that fulfillment and happiness unless you get through the storms, right? That's where rainbows come from, you know, is after the storm hits. You've got to almost celebrate those hard moments because deep down you know that something greater is going to come from it. And I'm not saying to look at every single tough moment and be like, oh my God, yes, like I just got in a car accident or something. Like, no, that's not what we're doing here. That's not what I'm trying to preach, but more so just, and I hope that none of us get in a car accident, going to put that and speak that in right now, but it's more so just whenever those difficult times do come up in your life, that's whenever we can start to redirect that mindset shift. Instead of thinking that your world is falling apart, just knowing that your world may just be shifted a little bit. It honestly all just comes down to what we are choosing to see and take in. Life is going to throw us everything it possibly can because, again, it is our literal only time here on this earth. So, of course, we are going to see the good and the bads that life has to offer. Honestly, I would hope it would because, again, that means that we are living a life where we are facing challenges, where we are overcoming challenges, and we are getting to celebrate those wins and those greater gifts of life too, right? So it just makes it so much fun. But with that, that's where we get our power from, right? Because we get to choose what we see. We get to choose how we live and how we perceive this world. Life is going to try to trick us into thinking that the only way of living is living in the hard. Because again, life is going to continue throwing us hard things. once you overcome one thing, it's going to throw you the next big thing, right? That's just where it's just going to keep on giving. Life is truly the gift that keeps on giving. Throughout those hard and difficult moments, yes, it's good to acknowledge the hard, because that's where we start to, problem solve and start to find solutions to overcome the hard. But don't be tricked and trapped into staying in the hard. And I feel like that's where we can go wrong. It's where we get locked and stuck into this way of thinking and seeing the world, that it always has to be hard, that it always has to be that way. When in reality, just because a hard time comes does not mean that that is how life is. It does not mean that life itself is hard. Just because maybe you are getting a hard circumstance come up, or it seems like it's one thing after another and it just won't stop, I promise you right now, that does not mean that that is going to be how your entire life is going to be, right? We've already said and kind of talked about and touched on everything in this life is temporary. So that hard moment, that overwhelming feeling, it is going to pass. I promise you that. But it is up to us to choose to see things differently, right? Because if we are going to choose to only acknowledge the hard in this life and not acknowledge the good that comes with it, you are going to be stuck in that hard. We have the choice here on this earth, right? Acknowledge the hard, but choose the good. That's where we are able to have that awareness of the difficult things that life has to offer. We are going to choose to be better. We are going to choose to be bigger than those hard moments. And that is where you are going to see the growth and see yourself just thrive through those hard and difficult moments. Because again, those moments are almost like a test. During those tests, you're either going to rise up, again, acknowledge the test, acknowledge the hard moment that is at play, but choose to overcome, choose to see the good and how you can accomplish and override that circumstance that is at hand, fold into that hard moment and submit to it. But that's where I want to challenge you to stand the fuck up and face that hard problem head on, right? Because I promise you, you are going to survive it, you are going to get through it, and you are going to come out of it so much better and so much more confident, so much stronger, so much more powerful. And I promise you, like, those moments are where your power really develops, because you are, yes, proving to other people that you can overcome these hard, challenging times, but more importantly, you're proving to yourself that you have the power to overcome that. And that's just where it's going to give you the confidence to continue facing and overcoming all of these difficult things that the universe is trying to throw our way. And I promise you, like, you are going to be unrecognizable, because you are going to go after every single situation fearless, because you're going to have that belief that you can and that you will. So yeah, that's just where I want to challenge you guys not to settle with living in the hard. I promise you guys, life is meant to live beautifully around beautiful people. So if we continue to focus on all of the beautiful little things that life is able to offer us, and all of the beautiful people that you are choosing to surround yourself with, it is going to make all of those hard moments just seem a little bit less stressful and kind of alleviate that pressure that it's giving you to. And I promise you guys, once you start to acknowledge and see those small ones happen throughout your life, I promise your whole life is going to then be created into this huge win. That is how you create the life that is meant for you. It literally starts small. Everything good, everything successful starts within the small things, the little things, right? I feel like you see it talked about all the time as the little things in life. Those small wins, if we continue to focus on them, your life is going to just unfold within your eyes, because you are going to start being in that frequency where you just feel successful, where you feel that confidence and that power within you, right? Because you are overpowering and overcoming all of those hard times and kind of those difficult moments. Your frequency is going to continue to rise and develop, and you are going to be just radiating that frequency, right? You're going to be radiating that confidence and that power within this world, and that's what you're going to be putting out into this world. Life is all about input versus output. Time and energy and effort that you are putting into your life, into this world, you are going to get back eventually, right? It may not be right away, but that's where good things take time. Great things take even longer. The more that we can get our frequency at a state, at a level where it is attracting in success and those small wins, you are going to see those small wins happening, in every single aspect of your life. It's not just going to be your small wins happening throughout your workout and fitness life, or your relationship, or your family, or your friends, or your work life. It's going to be happening in every single factor. Your life is going to just start to take off and start to develop into this beautiful thing. And again, as that is developing, that is not to say that those hard times are going to end. Those hard times are going to carry on and happen throughout the rest of our lives. We cannot expect those hard times to just disappear forever. But what we can expect, what we can have the standard within ourselves is to, as those hard times continue to come, that's where your confidence becomes greater. That's where your support system becomes just more of a safety net for you. You are not only able to acknowledge these problems, but you are able to tackle them maybe more efficiently. You are able to tackle them and overcome them, and honestly find solutions that not only can help you, but now can help the people around you. You are going to find so many other ways to give into this world and give back to this world that you didn't even know that you had in you. Tapping into that frequency where you are going to be unstoppable. It's going to be so scary for you and so exciting. It's going to be so thrilling. And it literally starts with those small wins. Those small little wins is literally going to create the biggest, most beautiful picture in life that you could ever dream of. And also with that too, and kind of going back to tapping into that frequency, you should always remind yourself that you deserve to feel accomplished. You deserve to feel like you are doing something important in this world. That's where we create a sense of purpose within ourselves too. If we continue to belittle ourselves or be hard on ourselves or continue adding this like additional pressure to ourselves, we are going to drain ourselves, right? And that's where you are going to just constantly feel lethargic and tired always, because you are never recognizing those small wins. You're never letting yourself feel those small wins too, right? Because once you start to acknowledge those small wins, it's going to become a feeling, and that's where that frequency, that vibration comes into play and starts to be created. You are going to start to feel accomplished, good, powerful, and confident because you're doing the damn thing, right? It's like you're doing what you told yourself that you were going to do. And you're probably going to start seeing results after, some time, and after you're consistent with it. That is the feeling that you deserve to feel all the time. You don't deserve to feel anxious all the time. You don't deserve to feel pressured or stressed, like you're not good enough or like you're not doing enough. You deserve to feel empowered and creative and beautiful and sexy, driven and motivated and inspired. Like there's so many high frequency feelings that we can tap into. I just think that sometimes we honestly just lose sight of it, and we lose sight of all that we're capable of and all that we have to offer into this world too. So that's just where reminding ourselves that we deserve to feel accomplished. We deserve to feel beautiful and sexy and powerful and all of these amazing things. Because by feeling all of those great emotions and by allowing ourselves to feel it, we are going to be able to put all of those emotions and frequency out within this world too. And again, that is how we obtain all of these amazing things. Because again, y'all, life is hard. We can try to do everything perfect and something is gonna still go wrong. That is a promise. That is how life works. We can pour our heart, soul, and then some into whatever it is that we want to, and it's still going to feel like a challenge. It's still going to feel hard. There might even be a moment where it feels impossible, but that again is just where that test comes into play. And I promise you, you are able to overcome it. You are able to conquer it, and literally just believe in yourself. Trust yourself that there is light at the end of the tunnel. That is where we can tap into what is going good for us. When those hard times, yes, acknowledge the hard, but also acknowledge what is going well for us, because we can use what is going well to overcome maybe what is seeming a little bit more difficult at that time. With that though, we can't expect ourselves to feel good if we are constantly looking at the hard and the problems and that's all that we see. I think that there's a fine line between recognizing and putting thought and effort into the problem to find the solution to it. With that, that's where we have to find the balance within this life to see the problem but not be stuck in the problem, kind of seeing it in like a third party point of view where we're almost like overlooking the problem, but we're not like sinking in the problem. If we are constantly looking at all the difficult things that life is throwing our way, your vibration, your frequency is going to then be in that hard, difficult state. It's going to be in that franticness. It's going to be in that stress mode all the time. You're going to feel that pressure all the time. And I promise you, like, it is going to affect how you speak, how you're moving, how you're acting, the confidence that you're portraying. Like, that emotion, that energy that is going within you, that is then what you are going to be putting out into this world. So all that you're going to be seeing is those hard times, because that's all that you're focusing on. And going back to acknowledging the problems from a third point of view, but not making it who you are, not making it all that is going on within your life. Kind of going into like input versus output too. We just can't expect to be putting all of this energy and effort and time into the problem or situation, or even just like in this life in general, and not expect to give something back within ourselves. Within like the hard times in life, we have to, find those playful moments. We have to find time to be with your friends, or find times to be with your family, or do something fun for yourself, or treat yourself to a sweet treat, a self-care night, or whatever it is it looks like for you. You have to find that balance, unless you are just going to feel so drained. You can't expect to empty your cup and pour your heart and soul into your people, into your goals, into that problem that's at hand, and not give anything else back into your cup. It's not going to work. You're not even going to be at your best then, and being at your best is the only way that you're going to be able to overcome the situation and find the best to come out of it too. So this is just to say, if you are feeling like you've just been in a funk, or that it's just been one thing after another constantly, or if life has just been feeling a little bit more stressful or overwhelming, just know that there is still small wins to be celebrated. You are doing amazing. If you are waking up, that is a small win, right? If you are trying, that is a small win. Just keep scooting forward, and I promise you that scoot is going to become a step. That step is going to become a stride, and that stride is going to become into the most amazing thing that life can have for you. And that's just where the beauty of life really shows up, and we all deserve to see and feel that. So really just keep trying to tap into that successful vibration and frequency that starts with identifying those small wins, tapping into those small wins, really telling yourself that you deserve to feel them, that you deserve everything good that this life has to offer. But again, I say this knowing that yes, you deserve it, but knowing that you're not going to receive those small wins without going through those hard moments too. So that's just where that confidence, that power comes into play, knowing that you can get through any hard time that comes your way, knowing that you are going to, that everything in this life is temporary, that with the good comes the bad, that with the bad comes the good. And life is all about balance. Life is like a coin, it's two-sided, so there's always something good to come from the bad. And I really think that can bring a lot of hope. It can bring a lot of just peace and at ease. So I'm just going to leave y'all with this. Every single day is a win, no matter how big, how small it is. There's always something. So I just want to challenge you all to find those small wins. Really all it takes is for us to choose it, and for us to see it. Choose to see those small wins, choose to celebrate them, and choose to feel them too. You all deserve to feel them, and I hope you all do. I hope you all have a phenomenal week coming up. This week, I really want to challenge you all to maybe write down one small win a day. And at the end of the week, look over those small wins. And I promise you, you're going to look at your week so much differently. Just being able to visibly see all of those accomplishments and all of those small little good things that happen. So I love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. And I cannot wait to talk with you all next week. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Simply You. Make sure to like and subscribe on all channels. Again, thank y'all so much. And I will see y'all next week on Simply You. Be here, be real, be you with Carly Basham.